Hello, and welcome to another episode of the High Council Podcast. I am your host, as always, Ferno9, or I guess the man by many names, Ferno9, which is my most common one. And today we have a very, very interesting topic that, for some reason, we haven't touched on yet, even though we got a few people, within the podcast itself, but also some special guests and people on the server that are very into this shit. So the fact that we haven't touched on it yet is surprising, but hey, first time for everything, right? So today we have one of the people that are extremely excited about this topic. We got a Vector.
Oh, what's up, fuckers?
That was me. And then we have a Kamikaze.
What's up? It's your boy Kamikaze back in KZ once again. Glad to be here.
Damn. You know, the guy we found out was a criminal last podcast? All right. And then
You are.
we have a special guest. He's from the old clan that we've been part of. You know, man's loyal. We got Squatch.
What's up, guys? Glad to be here.
Amazing. So, funny thing was, as soon as we were like, "Hey, yo, so we're doing a podcast, and it's Transformers," Squatch jumped on straight away. So big up to Squatch on that one. So, I just spoiled what the topic is, which you've already read in the fucking title, nonetheless. So it doesn't matter. But the topic today is Transformers, and I think the thing that we're going to discuss the most, probably, hence the title, is its future on the big screen. But all the guys have brought their topics that we are going to discuss, so we're gonna go through them. Now, I think that Vector has the best ones to just, get out of the way, if I'm being honest. That sounds
Wow.
that sounds negative, but I mean, like, they're the most, like, they make the most sense to bring up anyways, in a sense.
Okay.
And so
Fair point.
we'll I think we'll take the second one first, and that is your favorite Transformer. And Squatch, since you're the special guest, I want to start with you. Sorry, Vector, but we're starting with Squatch. Who is your favorite Transformer?
That's a tough one. I mean, I like them all, but this one will probably be the most cliche. But my favorite Transformer is Optimus Prime.
I mean, it's not cliche. It's obviously a good
He's a
choice.
basic bitch.
There's a reason why it's cliche, is because it's a good choice. He's a fucking amazing guy.
Yeah.
A really safe choice. Really good though.
Yeah. But again,
Like-
it's a brilliant choice.
Optimus Prime's just ready to go fight in like whatever war he's talking about. That man had people standing up in the theaters. So yeah, that's a pretty solid choice.
No, you're exactly right. I mean, I was ready to go fight the Decepticons too.
I mean, fair enough. I mean, that you got a fucking good ass reason for your choice right there. All right,
Man,
Vector.
inspirational speech is known to cinema. Yes.
I mean, that's fair. That is fair. Now, Vector. I
Yes.
have a thought on who it's gonna be, but I'm not gonna fuck about with it. So, Vector, who is your favorite Transformer?
My all-time favorite Transformer is Soundwave, and it's a specific version of
Ooh,
Soundwave.
I fucking knew
My
it.
favorite it is Soundwave from the cartoon Transformers Prime, which is also my other thing I was going to talk about. So Transformers Prime is probably is my favorite Transformers media there is. I love that show,
Really?
and I watched it growing up. Yeah, Transformers Prime.
I love it
watched
too.
growing up.
Damn.
And that version, obviously Soundwave just doesn't speak, and then he is the second, he is honestly one of the most powerful Decepticons there is, and he could, if he wasn't so loyal to Megatron, he could probably run the Decepticons, and it's been hinted at multiple times
I mean,
that
yeah.
he is just that fucking OP. And every time he made watching the show so intriguing because whenever it switched to the Decepticon perspective, and you got to see him like just how badass he looks, and whenever he went on a mission
He's
to
so
go
cold.
fuck up like the military base, he is just so his design choice, the way he sounds, it is just pitch perfect, and he made me fall in love with the Decepticons. And I also did like his version in Transformers 3 Dark of the Moon. He was all beefy and scary looking.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was Shock.
But in Prime he is pretty good as well. I'll agree with that.
Dude,
in Prime he's amazing.
I love him in Prime. And honestly, if you have never watched Transformers Prime, it is still on air on Netflix. Highly recommended.
Yeah.
That and its offspring of where they go to hunt the Dinocons. I highly recommend you watch it. I binged it so many times. When I have nothing to do, it is probably my my third favorite cartoon of all time. And I watched a lot of cartoons, so that's pretty high praise. This is coming from Clone Wars, Avatar: The Last Airbender, and Transformers Prime, top 3 of all time.
Right.
So highly recommend.
And then, Kami, who is your favorite Transformer?
I gotta go with Bumblebee, especially after the first movie. Definitely Bumblebee.
Fair enough. Simple as it is, just fucking Bumblebee. He's a fucking badass.
You know why, right?
Yeah, because he doesn't speak.
The Chevy.
Yeah, I know. I'm fucking with
yeah.
Of course.
But not only that, but all the shit that they gave him. Here's the thing: all the shit that they gave him in the first movie, like in the car, like it looked shitty. But as soon as the chick, what was her name again?
Megan Fox.
Just call her Megan Fox.
She opened the hood. When she opened the hood, you see that big block in there? Oh my god. Bumblebee was hiding something, you know what I mean?
Like, Kami doesn't give a fuck about the robots in disguise. He gives a fuck about the disguise.
But the thing is, like, the way he's built, too, he was pretty clean. And not to mention, he's the only one as of right now that has his own movie. Come on.
Which we're gonna get into, by the way. We'll get into that.
But there's a reason why I picked Bumblebee for that, you know? Like, he's just badass all around, especially that he can't talk. He still used other ways to communicate, such as the radio, you know?
Right, and
throughout the times in the movies that we've seen, he constantly changed to a different Chevy each time, too. Like, as another Camaro. Which I love that he's kept on, you know? They didn't change it back to, like, a Beetle or nothing. He stayed to that. And I think that's something that's really grown throughout the movies.
I did wish that he would start as the old good old Beetle.
The Beetle.
Yeah. I wish he started with
the
that.
Movie, remember?
Huh?
Because he was checking out the Beetle at first, and then he looked at the Camaro, and that's where it was. I was like, it threw me for a twist. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
No, the Transformer, the first one was the first one I ever saw. So for me as a child, the Z20, it's the 2011. I think SRS Camaro. That is literally my dream car, and to this day,
who does not want
always been. And I will forever raise my money up to buy that 2011 Camaro because it just has such an impact on my life.
Well,
when I saw him change that bit,
this podcast takes off. You know, you never know.
Dude, all right. I will my dime off to get that car for real.
All right. Now my favorite Transformer. Now your guys' choices are all basic. I'm kidding. But mine is my favorite Transformer, and he has been my favorite Transformer since I was like 3, right? That is Hot Shot, bro.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, I've always fucking loved Hot Shot because he's always been like, he's like age is different with them, but like he's always been like, kind of like young, cool. He's always been sports cars. He's always like the badass guy that comes in and just whoops ass, and then he just like, hey yo, so how's it going? And then he leaves. And also has fucking epics. He's just fucking epic. He's a fucking ninja, bro. I don't know, like
He's a ninja.
like I can't like put specific words on it, but I just fucking love him. He's badass. He's always been cool cars. The fact that we haven't seen him really yet in like the Bay universe, which we're gonna get into as well, how that's going. But the fact that we haven't seen him in the Bay universe, bro, genuinely, that's disappointed the fuck out of me. And I hope that, again, something else that we're gonna get into with like the Bumblebee and like how that might turn into a new universe. I hope to the love of fucking God that we see a hot shot, bro.
Yeah, we get that.
I hope so.
We'll get into that.
We'll get into that.
We dive into that one.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys brought that up.
All right. And then Vector's next topic. Now, Vector's already touched on what his favorite is. His favorite is Transformers Prime. But what is your favorite, Transformers media? So it could be the Bay universe, or it could just be a specific series.
Oh.
Like, what is your favorite intake? Is it Transformers Prime? Is it the fucking animal version that I never remember the fucking name of? Is it, like, what is it? Is it Cybertron? War of Cybertron? Which one is it? What is your favorite Transformers media?
Dude, let me tell you. Okay, I want you all to picture a time when it's like 2010 and Activision released The Fall of Cybertron.
Oh.
On PS3. Yes, I am that old, and I did play it. That was my favorite Transformers game of all time. And then they released War for Cybertron after that, and like I think it was 2014 or 2012.
Right.
And Activision only ran those two games, but those were really good games. And I felt this whenever they alluded to like what the War of Cybertron looked like on the Bay universe in 2007, that game is what I always picture what happens. And it is my favorite Transformers media to this day, and I am pissed off that Activision shut that series down and killed it. It makes me so mad that there hasn't even been a re-release of it. Nothing. Completely dead. And High Noon Studios just let it die. And I will never forgive that sin. But if you've never had the pleasure of playing these games, please, so many other YouTubers are just now getting on this trend of how good these games are. Please go find them. Please go buy a PS3 just to play these games. I highly recommend it.
I mean, a PS3 a PS3 will quickly cost you $20, so it's not that expensive.
They're still $100.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Like
these games.
Well, that's got to be a States thing because it's not that expensive over here. But anyways.
Wow.
All right. To me, now, so Vector's favorite thing is Transformers Prime. Kamikaze, what is your favorite, like Transformers movie / TV series media? If you say the Bay universe, please say excluding the final two.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Say that you like the Bay trilogy. You like the trilogy.
Yeah.
Although number 4 isn't that bad.
I do like the trilogy that they had. Yeah. But man, I want to say, what was it? Because the Beast Wars were really stupid, so I'm not going to even get into that. Or like the robots in disguise. Yeah. But I was never really a fan of those, but I still watched them when I was younger.
Yeah.
But I want to say like the original Transformers, like the animated.
Oh, you talking the 1970s?
Yep.
You're talking.
Showing them. Yes, animated. Sir. The G1s.
Those were great. Yep. That's the one.
Which, by the way, we're gonna get into my opinion on all of that stuff later as well, in terms of something that came out not too long ago.
the balls to do what the Michael Bay universe could never fucking do. And anyone who's seen the G1 movie knows what I'm talking about. I won't even spoil it.
That would be it all time.
Okay, well that's fucking fair. And then Squatch, what is your favorite media?
Oh man, that's a tough one because one, Kamikaze's done called out Robots in the Skies, which was the very first Transformers series that I ever watched. Saturday mornings on Fox Kids. Gosh, I'm gonna have to go, and this is gonna suck because there's two of them, technically three, or four, but I'm gonna exclude one out of this.
Mm-hmm.
But the Robots in Disguise era, because that's what kicked off my fascination with Transformers.
Right.
And then the Unicron series.
Ooh.
I like
Ooh.
Doing classics.
Like, I liked all three of them. Energon was kind of iffy for me. I still don't know how to feel about it to this day, and I'm 27. So, I mean, it's one of those deals that I really don't know how to feel about.
Right.
But if like the Armada series, the Robots in the Sky series, and Transformers Cybertron, like, those are the big three that just, like, I could sit down and be like a little kid, sit in front of my TV, and it keeps my attention just because it's such a great story.
See, this is where we get into my favorite. My favorite is Transformers Cybertron. You know, the anime-esque series.
Yep.
Oh my!
Yes,
I mean, it doesn't really help the fact that, you know, Hotshot's one of the main characters in that series, obviously. But that series is so fucking good, bro. I fucking love that, bro. Oh, but like, I can't say enough good shit about that one. Like, I love the character designs. I love how, like, the keys work. I love everything about it, bro. Everything. I don't know. I love it. I love the fact that they actually made it work as an anime style. And I just love the entire storyline. Now, there's a it's a long ass story, but I fucking love it, and you can pay attention to it throughout the entire way. It's not like you slip off. Like, it works. And
it's very interesting to see where we all came from to get to fall in love with Transformers.
Yeah.
Like, we all came like completely different ways.
Yeah.
But still the old school ones.
Yeah, it's all like the older versions. But like for example, like
I'm with stuff because Transformers Prime was like in like 2012.
Yeah, but you still came from something else.
Yeah.
So like, but like, you know, like with like Scattershot, Red Alert, and all that shit, everything that happened in that Cybertron series, which, by the way, Megatron, when he's a fucking when he's like transformed, he looks fucking badass with like the tip of the plane and all that. He looks amazing.
Yes, sir.
The fact that like when he turns into a car and has that fucking race, oh my god, bro, I fucking love that series, bro. I can't tell you enough how much I love that. And the first time I watched it was in remember back when you actually used to get good stuff in like Donald Duck comics? I got a CD with 4 episodes of Transformers Cybertron with a game, and that is how I fell in love with it. That's the first time I watched Transformers Cybertron, and ever since I was fucking hooked, bro. Like, that was fucking amazing. So,
well, do you know what's? I'll say this one thing: like, the very first media I ever got onto Transformers was actually the Bay movie. It was actually the Bay movie game, Transformers the game, that came out after the movie. Because
for the PlayStation 2.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, but I Xbox 360, and my dad picked it up for me one day at a GameStop because I did good on my grades that year or that semester, and he bought it for me, and that was my very first introduction into the Transformers universe.
Really?
And then after I beat the, yeah, that's complete. I had no idea what Transformers was until my dad bought me that game, like out of nowhere, and then immediately jumped on Transformers love after that point
because
because I played the shit.
I remember not even being like 3 years old, sitting on the couch next to my dad watching like the OG animated series. I watched
I
that
do.
shit when
My dad.
I wasn't even 3 years
Get on
old.
I didn't get to that point. I didn't see G1 until I had to get up early in the morning, like before school, when
Right.
Cartoon Network used to like their old stuff back then, where it was like
Yes.
where they would play like G.I. Joe, Renegade, and they would play
Yes.
Right.
Thank
and
you.
they would play King Kong and Godzilla and all that, and Transform G1. That's when I found out about it. That's when, oh my god, that made it so much better. But I really started off from a game I had nothing about a universe I had nothing about that my dad got me on.
Damn. Well, again, like it's interesting to hear where we all come from in terms of like especially we're all different ages, so that is definitely interesting. Like how early I started, even though I'm probably the youngest out of all of us.
Possibly.
Yeah, you started off earlier than all of us.
But okay. I would say that that's rounded up Vector's 2 topics pretty well. We've all dived into our favorite Transformer, our favorite shows. We've all had our splurges on our favorite shows / movies. No one picked the movies because, I mean, fuck the Bay Universe. Half of it, at least.
They weren't bad.
No. But
2/3 of it.
But that is why I'm going to jump into Kamikaze's topics right away, because I feel like there's a shit ton to say there. And then Squatch's topics are also really nice, and I think that Kamikaze's lead very well onto Squatch's topics. So we'll try and get a structure into it. So, Kami, I think the first one we're going to start with is, because I think the first one is more leading than what the second one is. So we're going to start with the second one with, what do we think is next after the last night? So essentially, what do we think about the future of the Bay Universe? Now, Kami, you brought the topic up, so you can answer the question first. What do you think is happening with the Bay Universe?
I don't know. So the last movie that we saw in the last night?
Yeah.
Was kind of where Optimus Prime left us, you know? So I'm curious to know where he's going to go next, because he said he's going to go meet the makers of, Cybertron, you know? So I'm curious to know what Bay has in store for this. I know we've kind of gotten a little bit of hints on it where Optimus Prime turns and so forth. So I'm kind of curious on how that talk goes with him, because they're trying destroying Earth and so forth with the bomb, their seed that they had necessarily, you know? So I want to know what Bay has in the store next, such as with Optimus Prime going to them, because I'm pretty sure Prime gets his ass kicked a little bit. You're not going to lie. So, because we've already seen a little trailer scene before, or like the ending where he comes back and has to hunt the good ones, the freaking not Decepticons, the Autobots. He comes back.
Yeah.
So curious to know,
like when he fights Bumblebee and shit in last night.
Yes. So I'm curious to know what had happened during that time with on Cybertron.
Right. So like after the two worlds have connected now.
Exactly.
Interesting. I don't know. Vector or Squatch, any of you two have any like burning thoughts on it?
To me,
I'll let Squatch. That one.
oh,
Okay, Squatch first. Squatch first.
okay. I I think Bay is done with it because
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
with the last night, we meet Quintessa, who is supposed to be the quintessence from the G1 series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's done, and that's why we got this new movie, Bumblebee, coming out, or it's already came out, because it finally represents like what we all want, and that's a traditional Transformers movie. As far as like we want to see the war on Cybertron. So if you haven't seen Bumblebee, I mean, first right out of the gate, you get to see the G1 versions of all your favorite characters.
Yeah.
Some that haven't even been introduced yet.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Oh my god! Literally, the first, I would say, 5 minutes of Bumblebee, greatest things to ever be put in the Transformers universe.
Yeah.
Literally,
Yeah.
the fact
Yeah.
that you can see G1 versions in high definition what was it? What was that movie when did that come out? When did Bumblebee come out? 2018?
Yeah.
Or was it 2020?
Yeah. It was
No,
like
2019, right?
2019.
Well, literally 2019 did the first 5 minutes did better than the entire Bay universe ever thought of. And it is so beautiful how they came together.
Now,
oh my god.
see, my opinion on that is, now I loved that I sat through the start of the Bumblebee movie. I sat through and go, I know who that is, I know who that is, I know who that is, I know who that is.
Exactly.
That was, but
they're so definable.
But there's one thing I will say to Michael Bay. I loved how the realism of how he started with with like how Bone Crusher looked. I was like, yeah, that fucking makes sense.
Well, it's because he made them look so. At least the Decepticons. He made the Decepticons look so menacing. Now,
It makes sense.
Starscream, he could have done a lot better with, but at the same time,
better.
Starscream was just a big bumbling idiot, which is fine because that's how he is.
Yeah.
In all the damn media. But me personally, what killed me with the Bay movies was the fourth one, and it wasn't even the fact that they've got a new concept. Like it didn't make sense for Bumblebee to go back to being a 1970 Camaro, which I didn't mind. I'm a big muscle car fanatic, so I mean, keep him as a damn old school Camaro. Like hell yeah, let's keep that.
Yeah.
But what got me was the Transformium and watching.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like the Galvatron, and I thought it was a good concept, but for me that just kind of I'm basically a big cloud of floating marbles that could transform into a robot or whatever. Like that for me is what kind of turned me away from the fourth movie.
Yeah.
I thought the fifth movie was okay, but they should have stuck. Bay should have stuck with his source material.
Yeah.
So I'll give the first three movies credit. Dark of the Moon had a little bit of stuff to it. I'm glad that they finally introduced the Wreckers, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure he's done. And with Transformers Rise of the Beast or something like that, because we're going to get to see Optimus Prime.
Yeah, we're going to see the Predacons finally.
Yeah.
Yes, I think with them doing that now.
I like the Predacons, bro.
Yeah.
Seeing combining prehistoric animals with Transformers, genius. Whoever thought of that was a genius. Because at the time when you're a kid, your favorite things in the world are either dinosaurs or robots.
Or giant robots.
And they threw them together.
Yeah.
Amazing. Genius.
See, but this is also another thought for me on the Bay movies. I think now I did like the designs. I loved the design. I loved how the Decepticons, they were like they were more menacing. They were very bland colored as well, because it was like, bro, we're here to fuck shit up. And
and it's also because if you noticed, like, they were military vehicles, and then you've got Autobots who are civilian vehicles.
Yeah, it all made sense, and I liked the designs. But the biggest issue I had was the reuse of the designs. Like you'll see like in Transformers 4, you'll see Optimus fighting Bone Crusher again, but it's like, I saw him die 20 minutes ago, or like in like fucking I believe it's the second one that he dies, right? But it's like he reused designs in episode 3 and 4 and even in 5. He reused designs, and I was like, what the fuck? Come on. Like, I get that it probably takes a while to make something that spectacular again, but look different. So I guess it kind of makes sense if they weren't named ones. If they had like the old minions that they had, like, you know, like the ones that, you know, like with back with G1, like how it used to look, with like you had a set specific type of Decepticon, you had a specific type, then it would make sense to have the same look but with a different color, right? Because that's what they used to have with like with the everything, but they haven't set that up, so it's the exact same look. So it's like, well, I saw him die then and then.
Well, it's kind of like, do you remember the helicopter from the very first Michael Bay movie?
Yeah.
Yes.
He comes back in
Blackout.
Yeah, he Blackout comes back in what, the third one?
Yeah. He comes back in the second one,
Yeah,
but his name is Grinder.
Yeah, and it's like it's the same guy.
Yeah, like I was like, who the fuck is this? Who the fuck is this guy? We're like, that's not Blackout.
Well,
Blackout.
I'll tell you this though.
Got killed in the first. I think he got killed in the first one.
Yeah,
by the civilians. And
he did.
Grinder comes back, so they just replaced him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
But they look
Megatron and
cool. They literally almost identical.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. For me personally, the Megatron in the second movie, like, he had me scared.
Yeah, bro.
He was such. Just because of how.
Is his best iteration.
He was.
They nailed Megatron in this. I gotta say, they nailed Megatron.
Okay, if let's just take a moment here. Let's take a moment. If we exclude the way, like, if we just don't even acknowledge that Bumblebee exists right now, because it really taints the way that we look at the Michael Bay universe. If we look at the Michael Bay universe like as it is, no one can deny that the first three, even though they are objectively badly written movies, they are entertaining as shit. Like, they are really like, if you just turn your brain off and just watch these movies, like, and think nothing of it, you'll have a good time. Mm-hmm. And that's the way that I saw these movies. Like, they were really entertaining to watch, even though, like, now that I'm older and I shouldn't have, like, seen, like, I didn't understand a lot of things that they were saying at the time, but I do now. Mm-hmm. That doesn't really help it. But the way that they're designed, it makes sense. It really makes sense when you look at it.
Yeah.
Like the way that the Decepticons look and the way that the Autobots look, they don't look like their G1 versions. They look like, well, how would these moving parts look if they were on Earth? And I do like the concept. Like, no one can tell me that seeing Optimus transform for the first time in full CGI effect is not one of the coolest things you've ever seen.
Oh, for sure.
When you go through the look and you see all the moving parts come together, that was not fucking jaw dropping. No one's gonna tell me that's not.
But
literally,
like
that.
But another thing that I also loved, which isn't, I mean, it's not even related to the fucking robots, but one more thing that actually makes me love those movies, which also is, you know, partly removed in the fourth and fifth movie, is like the dynamic between like Epps and Lennox, for example.
Yeah.
Like bro, one of my favorite scenes is the, which pocket? You got like 20 pockets. Left cheek. You know, like
for real, yes.
Bro, like the dynamic between those guys and the rest of the military guys throughout the first three movies, I fucking love, bro. Like that, the dynamic between a lot of the Autobots and shit as well is fucking great.
Like, you can't tell me the Scorpion scene, like, Oh
No,
my
That's
god,
fucking awesome,
when it
bro.
came up and stabbed him the first time.
Yeah.
dude.
It's like
And I think in
the
the
first few
most-
minutes you might not even you're like, oh, okay, we're gonna watch a fucking Transformers movie, and then all of a sudden you see this motherfucker come out and you're like, okay, it started. It has started now. It's a fucking scorpion. Okay, let's go.
Yeah. Like, but the thing of it, this is where a lot of people in my generation saw these movies come from, because they came out when I was 7 years old.
Right.
Like, I was a kid, and a lot of people grew up on these movies. So that's really all we know, unless they haven't been subjected to the older styles of what Transformer is. So
Yeah.
you got to take that into effect.
Yeah.
But seeing like I really don't even exclude the way the fourth and the fifth movies made. I basically outright like boycotted them.
But like
I
they still
couldn't
have
stand-
they all still have good elements. Like I love like what's his name, Chapman in the fifth movie. I love him. I also, now obviously being an OG fan, it was a kind of disappointing, but also not really, because I liked Hot Rod as well. You know, Hot Rod. I liked him. I liked Chapman. I liked how the dynamic was between those guys. But then it was obviously you had the story was iffy. Like both the fourth and the fifth movie, you can say what you want, but like they have redeeming qualities. Not that it redeems them enough, but they have redeeming qualities just as a whole, which is one thing that Michael Bay, I gotta give him props for. But one thing,
Okay.
we are again going off topic.
Yeah.
We
Back
got
on topic.
we got to get back on topic. Welcome to the High Council podcast, aka the Off Topic podcast. Okay, so now the actual question, which I guess we've gotten very much into, and I guess we all agree, is, you know, the future of the Bay franchise. I think if you disagree with this, say nay, but I think everyone agrees that it's over. I think Michael Bay is probably done with these movies. If you disagree, say nay. If you don't disagree,
Nay.
oh, Kami.
Really?
I don't think he's done with it yet. Come on.
Okay,
We're
well,
gonna
well-
get into that a little bit later. Why?
But how? How can you expect him to not be done with it? And I'm sorry if I'm not like trying to get an attitude or anything.
I think he has plans still for it, like ideas and so forth. But I don't know if that's all that Bay has in store for it. You know what I mean?
No, I don't think it's all he has in store, but I think after the way that the fifth movie bombed, I don't think they want him to make a whole lot more.
I don't
That's a
think
good point.
Hasbro will make another Transformers movie again. I don't think they'll let him. I genuinely don't think Hasbro will let him do it again.
No, and he even come out and said in an interview, and this was probably 1 or 2 weeks ago, that he even said, "Yeah, I made too many Transformers movies because I should have stuck with them at the first 2 and been done with it." Me personally, I don't see him coming back for a 6th movie, just because, I mean, everything that he did hit on in the last night, so I don't foresee there being another reason, not unless we finally get introduced into like the true hot rod, where he plays the Matrix legit and then become Sprite.
The only story Michael Bay could ever touch on if he ever came back, which is what every Transformers media usually turns towards to, is Unicron. Like, that's it. Like the
yeah.
like that's like literally the only good. Unless he's gonna make up a whole new story, that is probably the only thing that could save him if he ever tried. Is the story of Unicron, but that's it.
But I also think that with the way that Travis Knight, with what he did with Bumblebee and the reception that got, like, I don't think that they want to turn back, because now, like, bringing back the G, like, that's one thing. Bringing back the G1s in the start is one thing. But I think a lot of people might like the fact that it's a refreshing new story, and it's something different, and it's like, okay, we've had our fun with the Bay movies, especially the first three, and then you can sit back and enjoy 4 and 5, right? Like, so we've had our run with the 5 movies, and so okay,
more than I did.
now it's a new universe, which is they're probably gonna copy the Marvel formula. Like, you got Bumblebee, and then you'll probably have Bumblebee 2, and then you'll have Optimus
Are we
Prime,
getting into
and
the topic
then
now?
well, I thought it was an amazing segue, so that was my thought, was that we're gonna get into this. So
All right, well, let's start talking about this then, since we're already pretty much on the topic, and start losing where we're at again.
because I thought that the segue was pretty decent. I think we landed on that. It's with Michael Bay, he probably thinks he's got more to give, but I think it's up to the higher ups to basically decide if they want to keep him, making him or not, especially with the way that Travis Knight did with Bumblebee, which Kamikaze, your next thing is, are we gonna see more movies like Bumblebee with solo characters?
That's what I'm hoping, because we've already got some of that going on right now with who is it, like Star Wars right now. We have one with Mando, one with Boba. We're gonna have one with Obi-Wan here really soon that I'm super excited for.
Yeah.
And so I really want to see where this is gonna go with them, seeing how good the Bumblebee came out.
Yeah.
So I want to know if they're gonna decide to make more or not.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we look at the end of Bumblebee, I think that your theory would be correct, because the very last person we see at the end of Bumblebee is Optimus.
Exactly.
Like literally, that is the last person we see at the end of it is Optimus.
And it's also what he does. Find out. He calls for other Autobots.
Yeah, so maybe we could get like a prelude to like how they escaped off Cybertron, or if they just completely continue with Bumblebee's story. They could go, or they could just switch. They could probably learn how all the other Autobots came to Earth, like do what Michael Bay should have done.
Yeah.
But I would like to see something of that regard, to where a new batch of kids get to learn these Autobots all over again. Like, right. This is their stepping stone. I would hope that they treat it with some respect. Yeah. Because Bumblebee did so good, and just watching how they treated Bumblebee with respect in that movie, it gives me high hopes that this is going to be the future of the Transformers universe, and I'm all for it if they keep going like this.
And also, Travis Knight, he seems like he is extremely motivated for this. And also, if you look at his what else he's done, like he hasn't done too much, but he seems he's young, or young. He's up and coming at least, and he is definitely someone to look out for. And I think he's very motivated for this. He's very motivated, and he's done some good movies in the past, and I think that it's only going to be better giving him the responsibility of kind of setting up a universe. If they only keep him to making the Bumblebee movies, and then I guess probably one with the title of Transformers, they keep him to that, and then someone else directs fucking Optimus, and someone else directs this and that. That's fine, but keep him specifically at least on Bumblebee. See what he can do, because he's motivated. He's been a fan since he was a kid, you know. So having someone like that, because even Michael Bay, he directly said it in an interview that he wasn't even a fan of Transformers when he took the job, which even then you shot yourself in the foot. Whilst Travis Knight, he is clearly a fan. You saw that at the start of Bumblebee, when it's just it's literally a war on Cybertron as the G1s. And you just sit there, you go, yes, finally. And you know that shows his motivation for this. Just shows that he really does want to keep this going. Let's see. Squatch, you got anything you want to put add on to it? Unless Kami has some final words on it.
I want to see what everyone wants to see as a solo movie. Since we're on this topic, who do you guys want to see? I'm guessing you're probably your favorite characters. But this is going back to the Gen 1s, though. This is like the originals.
Right.
So I'm curious to know who you guys want to see.
All right. Squash, we're starting with you.
I mean, I would love to see. Oh, okay. To go along with Optimus, I would love to see the fact, like in the G1 series, even in the Prime series, like Vector was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
I would love to see like a live action version of it being of him going from Orion Pack being best, and I'm talking best friends with Megatron, because if you know the lore, you know the story, them two like had the same ideals and the same everything, except one come from rich and one come from the pits of chaos and was a gladiator. And so I think a live-action movie of seeing Optimus's journey from his humble beginnings as Orion Pax to one of the last Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would
story that needs to be told.
But I'm also open to seeing I would love to see that, but at the same time, like if you gave me a movie about like Hound or Cup or like one of the old characters, or even go ahead. Hello.
No. I was just saying that even all those people that you named, even Ironhide could hold one if he could, if he wanted to. Ironhide could hold it.
Yeah. But yeah, those are all really good shouts. Now, I think that definitely we should have a hot shot one. No, but like genuinely, like the type of role that, like, all like bias aside, like the role that Hotshot has a tendency to play within any Transformers series, like he's always like Bumblebee is a scout, but Hotshot is always the one that goes out on missions. You know what I mean? He goes for like the interdimensional travels, essentially, like traveling from a planet to another one, from a fucking universe to another one. He's kind of like the out scout. And so I would love to like see like it could possibly just be a series instead with Hotshot, but like characters like Hotshot like have series or something like that where you just see their travels, or have like one of Hotshot's longer missions when he was fighting he was like fighting one of Megatron's like right-hand men that wasn't Starscream, because I think this was when Starscream was dead in one of the series. And this guy was like he was even stronger than Megatron. But the thing is, he was dumb as soup, so he couldn't like lead as Megatron. But he was kind of like just like the knuckles of the operation next to Megatron. And so Hotshot comes up against this guy, and it's like he struggles like a shit ton. And I would love to just see something like that come up like as a movie, like one of his like longer missions that he struggles with, and he might need help. He calls up someone, something like that. Mm-hmm. Any type of character that you don't really see a lot, but you hear a lot about. Any character like that would be awesome, I think.
Yeah.
Like you hear their name spoken, but or like, oh yeah, remember that mission? Oh yeah, fucking hell, like I remember that. Like characters like that, that's what you kind of want to see, because you want to see like, well, what's all the fuss about? And now they have a chance to do it with this. Like they can introduce lesser known characters, and then lead this up to a movie called Transformers.
Do you know how many side characters there are in Transformers? Anyone who's like really deep into Transformers, all of them have a favorite side character that's never been spoken in mainstream media before. Like there are literally hundreds of side characters that people obsess over in the Transformers universe. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's so many named characters. It's kind of like clones in Star Wars, there's so many named characters that you just they don't really hear the names of. Like, I don't know if any of you guys remember this character, but he's definitely lesser known. But I've always found him. He's not my favorite side character, but he's definitely cool. Any of you guys remember Silverbolt?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Silver.
I fucking love Silverbolt. And he's not a lot of people know who the fuck Silverbolt is. If you've played the games and watched specific parts of the TV shows, you'll know who he is, but chances there's not that many people that know who he actually is. So I fucking love him. He's a fucking badass, bro. But yeah. So let's see. Now we have gone into who has not said anything on this topic. Anyone that hasn't?
I think we all did.
All right. So anyone have any final words on, what we want? And okay, everyone throw out one character. Only one that you want to see have a solo movie. Kamikaze, you first. One character.
I want to go with Ironhide.
Ironhide. All right.
Ooh,
Vector.
Mhm.
Oh, if I had to choose, I would have. Wait a minute. Who's Bulkhead's best friend? Who's Bulkhead's best friend? I forget his name.
Wheeljack.
Yeah,
Wheeljack.
Wheeljack.
Good choice. Good
See
choice.
something with Wheeljack in it. Please, for the love of God, let me see something with Wheeljack.
Squatch.
Man, I don't know. I'd probably have to say Warpath.
Ooh, okay, Warpath.
Okay.
Warpath.
All right, and then I'm going to say Hotshot. No, I'm kidding. Let's see. Who would actually? You know what? One thing that I think would actually be very interesting, considering you said Ironhide, I would say Sideswipe.
Yeah. Ooh, that would be great.
Ooh, we should have a Wreckers movie. We should have a Wreckers movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that would be amazing, bro. That would be like the Guardians of the Galaxy movie of the fucking Transformers cinematic universe.
Definitely need a Wreckers movie. Someone get on that ASAP.
All right.
Should we
And
call
then-
Michael Bay?
Now, Squash's topics. Now I assume that the first one is the first thing that you wrote, is that specifically just the character, or is it more how the character, what we think about the character in the movies, for example? Squash.
Like, in what aspect? Like, are you wanting, like, because I don't know, man. Optimus Prime has just always been my go-to character, just because of, like, it's all the different iterations of him.
Right.
From Robots in Disguise, I think the most compelling story arc of his that I really gravitate towards is in the Unicron trilogy,
Right.
where he makes his move from Armada all the way to Cybertron.
Yeah.
To me, I'll tell you what, Cybertron Optimus Prime is going to be top dog no matter what. That will always be my number one, because, and this is going to sound dumb when I say it, but it's because of his arc in that series. Like, I think just that whole trilogy in his story is, I think it brings more to the lore of Optimus Prime.
Right. Okay. I mean, like, to me, one thing that I've always loved is that there are three characters I would say that are always as consistent throughout every single Transformers iteration. It is Optimus, Megatron, and Bumblebee. They're always consistent in how they look, how they sound, essentially, and just how they are, right? So, I think that one thing that I think about Optimus is he always starts off the same, pretty much, but his journey and his end is always different. Like, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't like Optimus in the final two movies of the Bay universe. I don't know what you think about that, Squatch, but I did not like him in the final two ones. I liked him in the first three, but in the final two, I don't know. I didn't like it. But what do you think, Squatch?
I didn't entirely hate Nemesis Prime.
Didn't hate him.
In the last two, I didn't hate him. I thought it was different because I think Michael Bay kind of went out way left field whenever he made those two, just because how do you go from being a 379 flat top Peterbilt, which I'm a big country boy. I love Pete's. Them Peterbilts, man, they're just awesome trucks.
Put up the whole model.
But the fact, though, just like the night thing did not make any sense towards me or for me, because it's never mentioned in the movie, and I think, or at least it's never mentioned in the first three, and then we get to 4 and 5, and here we are, and he's wielding a sword and shield, which, he does wield an Energon sword at one point in time, but
yeah,
I didn't hate him.
Right.
I love the new look, the updated style, his new alt mode.
Yeah.
Because that was like his new alt mode, man, is like Cadillacs of semi trucks.
Yeah.
But I liked his look, because to me it made him look more serious. But at the same time, the first three movies, I think he was, he knew what had to be done and was going to do anything to get it done. And then that one, just the last two movies, man, just for me didn't make sense.
Right. See, that's my thing. Is I liked how he looked in the last two movies, and I didn't hate him, but there was just something with the character that made me, I don't know, he didn't feel like the Optimus that I grew up with, essentially, and he didn't feel like
you
he was
literally read. What the hell?
No, but
how did you just brain, bro?
What?
You literally pulled that from my brain. That I literally just thought that.
Oh my god!
That he was not that he was not the same Prime from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Like, they almost feel like completely different Primes to me.
Like 1, 2, and 3. Like, I would say is pretty consistent. He changes his opinions on some things, but that makes sense. But in 4 and 5, he's different from what I grew up with, but he's also different from the first three movies. So it's kind of like a different universe, essentially. It's not the same Optimus from the first three movies.
No.
Like, it's almost like Whiplashy, like, whenever you find him. And, like, I mean, I guess I thought, like, what they were going for was, like, more of a PTSD-ridden Prime, whenever all of his friends get hunted down, and then the bounty hunter comes and is killing all of his friends. Like, he's a more, like, rough, rugged Prime.
Yeah,
that's just not really Optimus Prime. Like, even in the war, the Autobot war, Prime was never that dark ever,
Exactly.
And he watched hundreds of his friends die in combat.
Yeah,
I've never seen Prime like before. Like, that iteration is just not it. Like, Prime is always about the symbol of hope, peace, and prosperity. Like, those are his core values, and you're taking his core values away in 2 movies. Like, how the hell do you jump from his whole anyone who's ever seen his speeches in the first 3 movies knows who Prime is.
Yeah.
So they get a huge whiplash whenever they see him in 4 and 5. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? Like, this is not Prime.
And like,
There's no speech, nothing.
Him in any sort of way backing Quintessa, I was like, nah, okay, fuck you. Now you've turned him into Megatron. He's not Optimus Prime anymore. He's Megatron. He's okay. Fuck humans. I'm gonna do what I do. You know. I was like, come on. That's not Optimus
that's
Prime.
Just not. But I didn't entirely like I said, on the flip note, I don't entirely hate the Nemesis Prime.
No, me neither.
Look, Nemesis Prime is a really, if they did more with it, he's really scary as a villain. Like,
yeah.
I think even worse than, because he beat the shit out of Bumblebee. He was dogging them people out there. Like, they didn't stand a chance against Prime out there. Like that.
When I accepted that, okay, this is what we have now, I was like, okay, you know what? Run with it. Keep him a villain now. Like, genuinely, I was like, okay, there's no, whatever redemption you're gonna have for him will not make sense, and it'll just seem fucking forced in and cookie cutter, right? So I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
This is how he is. It kind of works. Not for the character, but like in general as a villain, it works. Keep it that way. Like, run through the rest of this movie with him as a villain. Maybe even have fucking Bumblebee have to kill him. I don't know. Your fucking choice. But keep him as a villain now. That was my thought. And then obviously, I mean, it doesn't. Yeah. You know, they don't. He hears Bumblebee speak, and he goes, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't. Be like not nice guy anymore. You know what? Fuck it. I'm all good. I was like, come on.
You know what they need to do?
Yeah.
Have y'all heard of the Shattered Glass story arc?
I've heard of it, but I haven't delved into it, I don't think.
Basically, the story behind it is that Megatron leads the Decepticons, same cookie cutter type deal, except Decepticons are good guys and Autobots are their power hungry criminals.
Right.
Like we all know and love. I think that they could have, and this is just my thought, with the whole potential of Optimus in the 5th movie becoming like Nemesis Prime, I think that they could have very easily have went that route. But I'm like y'all, like, they should have kept him as a villain, because I think we need a Nemesis Prime right now.
Yeah, I know he's the main guy and all that, but we've run with Megatron too much now. He's died 4 times. It's as Filthy Frank once said, it's time to stop. I think we need to step it up now. When he's not the main villain, he's a side villain. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If they just keep out less, like the main thing going forward is that the less humans we have in these movies, the better. Like,
true.
We only went with Shia LaBeouf because he was only in here for 3 movies, and then you go from Shia LaBeouf to Mark Wahlberg.
And also, they gave him a purpose. They gave Shia LaBeouf's character a purpose. And then they threw it away by going, you know what? We're going to go to this other family.
No, what really makes me mad about these movies is just that these I understand it, but at the main point, these Autobots just like show out of nowhere. Like, literally nowhere. Like, there's no backstory where they came from.
Yeah.
Like, how they got there. There's just nothing. Like, I get it's to sell more toys, but from a story aspect, like, literally, like, in the very first Transformers movie, it's like hinted at that the main people in that group are it. Like, there are no more Autobots because they all died and got killed in the War of Cybertron. Like, that's what was literally hinted at. Yeah. Because that's what it was showing when Cybertron was killing everybody up there, that there are no more Autobots, except for when Sentinel Prime came in the 3rd movie, that he was like this founder.
But I mean, then also
all the Autobots come from 4, and like, who are these guys? Well, how did they get here?
But they end the first one with I was about to say fucking Obi-Wan. I mean with
I heard
Optimus.
that.
Yeah,
With Optimus saying
Yeah.
like calling all Autobots, so we're on Earth and all that shit. So come over, we got fucking barbecues. Like
in the trilogy, I get that.
yeah,
But where the hell did they come up from 4 and 5?
yeah.
Where?
And
Where did these people come from?
one thing as well, you know, speaking of where they came from, but I have a question of where the fuck did they go, and that is Galvatron. Because he was like they had a look for him, and they were like, okay, so listen, so I'll be. It ends with the teaser of him like, yeah, I'm still alive, so I'm coming for you. And then in the fifth movie, it's like, no, so you remember this Galvatron guy? No, us neither. It's like we don't either, so it's like, fuck you.
So yeah, you make Galvatron, and then you don't even use him for the 5th movie and pull Quintessa.
It's like I was. That's one thing I enjoyed about 4. One thing I enjoyed about 4 was like, okay, you have Galvatron. He's got parts of Megatron in him, but he's not Megatron. So maybe make someone that's more powerful, gives Optimus Prime a fucking whooping, and it's like, yeah, Optimus cannot beat him on his own. Kind of like in what the second in the second movie. When Optimus is beating them 5-on-1, and I'm like, okay, I get that. I get that he's powerful, but up the ante. And when they then come in with Galvatron, I'm like, okay, maybe they will up the ante. And then it goes, no, we introduce a god instead, and Optimus is on her side. And Bumblebee almost takes him on his own. So Bumblebee can then take on 5 Decepticons all at once that are like twice his size? I don't think so. So it's a bit of a mess.
There's no consistency, like from a story standpoint. There is no consistency in the writing of like they break their own rules whenever they do shit like this.
Yeah,
does not like literally in the 3rd movie when they all got ganged up on in Detroit, like they got their ass kicked without the wreckers, like literally got befuddled right then and there. Except for when Optimus pulled up in his upgrade and basically was saving them.
Yeah. Fucking R.I.P. Ironhide, bro.
Dude, R.I.P. Ironhide. That shit had me heated when Sentinel Prime pulled that shit. That hurt my feelings.
Can I, when Sentinel... I was... Although I was, younger and, thinking stuff like this wasn't fully developed, I watched and read enough Transformers to sit there and wonder, are they going to do the betrayal of Sentinel, or are they going to stick with him as a good guy? So I sat through the entire movie being like, okay, where are we at in this story? And then when he shoots Ironhide, I was like, fuck. I was like, no.
The betrayal.
I was like, it's the fucking betrayal. I didn't want it, but here we go. And he kills Ironhide with it. I was like, they could have done it in a different way. Don't kill off Ironhide.
I have more respect for Sentinel Prime being a better villain than Megatron was in that movie.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, come on.
Prime he was better. Like, I don't understand.
But I mean,
a better villain than Megatron was.
But he was also the main villain, so that makes sense. But I will say this one thing. I did like Megatron's betrayal at the end.
Oh, dude. Megatron
that was
coming
good.
Up there with a shot. Honestly, those last, 10 minutes of the movie where Optimus, dumps both of them within the span of 3 minutes.
It's like, because
that's the Optimus Prime I've been wanting to see.
Like,
where he's like, where Megatron's where would you be without me? And he's like, let's find out. Like, that shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's like Megatron is like, okay, well, I don't want Sentinel to kill him for 2 reasons. One, because I kind of don't want Prime dead. But 2, I'm gonna be the fucking one to do it. You get the fuck out of the way. Get Sentinel out the fucking way. And then he goes. And then, everything happens, and then Optimus goes, well, fuck you, and then smacks him, and then he fucking blasts Sentinel, and I was like, bro, what did I just watch? What the fuck?
Literally, he 1v2'd them and won with one arm, because he lost his arm. Sentinel took his arm off, and he 1v2'd them and won.
Jesus. And again, like, this is where the inconsistency comes in, because like he fucks those guys up, and then I know that Bumblebee is a badass, but then in the fucking 2 movies after, Bumblebee's almost kicking his ass.
You can take a 5v. You can no. In that scene that you were talking about in Revenge of the Fallen, he took Grinder, he took Megatron, he took Starscream, the top 3 Decepticons at the time, and was whooping their ass
like
the whole time.
3-on-1.
Yet he take Bumblebee solo.
But also like, but no, Bumblebee is a badass. But there are 2 things that play into it. For one is that Bumblebee is half the size of all 3 of the guys that he fought. And 2, now he kind of sort of has god powers behind his fucking, like under his sleeves with fucking Quintessa backing him. And then you cannot take Bumblebee. That's where my issue lies with it.
Quintessa basically gave him the mode to kill. Like, in that whole scene, in that whole fight, he was going for the kill.
It's like
the whole time.
You know how God said, "Let there be light"? Quintessa said, "Let there be death." Yeah.
Yeah, like that was him going serious, and it's still I like Bumblebee as a character, but honestly,
I love
no
Bumblebee.
real state do I ever have 1v1ing Prime and winning. Like I don't see it. Like that's real plot armor for me, and I can't say that.
Yeah. Kami, do you have anything on this? Do you agree or disagree with this?
One, I agree.
Yeah,
but I think you guys covered it pretty dang well. I'm letting you guys do your thing.
just sitting here like, you know what? I fucking agree with it.
Yeah, I'm just listening. I'm enjoying it. I'm like, you know what? I can stand behind y'all.
Like, I get really heated about things because Transformers is just another keystone in my life that means a lot to me. Like, and I get real heated about shit like this. Like, I argue with people about things like this when they comes up.
I've noticed. Now, Squatch, it is your topic specifically on the Transformers. So, do you have any closing words until we move on to your second topic specifically? Or are you all on board?
I'm all on board.
Right. All right. Well, then we're gonna go into not the final, because I have one myself, but the second final. You know, the almost penultimate or whatever it is topic, which is the Unicron era by Squatch.
Ooh.
Now, this is a topic that I'm personally gonna, I'm gonna bench myself, because I want to see what you guys have to say about this, because my opinions on it are very basic. So I want to see what you guys have to say about it. So I know a bit about it, but my opinions are flat, to say the least. So Squatch, why don't you start it, open it, and see what you might bring up.
Okay, so if you've never seen it, and this is one of the few medias that, to me personally, I don't think very many people have really paid attention to it, because there are 3 different iterations of the Transformers that we all know and love, but it's all one big story, which is the Unicron era, or the Unicron trilogy, or if you want to call it the Unicron War. I mean, it's got many names. It's purely your decision on what you want to call it. But it starts off at Transformers Armada, where we meet 2 kids. They go in a cave. They find this weird little symbol type deal, and come to find out it's a minicon. The whole premise behind it is that first it starts off with this war for the minicons, because if you don't know what a minicon is, it's basically a smaller version of a robot. So, like, if you think of what was the little robot's name from the 5th movie that the girl had? Yeah, or no? Well, I guess Wheelie would be one of them. But no, it's the girl from the fifth movie. The little scooter looking thing.
Right.
Ooh.
I don't remember, but I know what you're talking about.
God, I can't.
But anyways, they start this whole thing off, and it's this war just gets kicked off because these little mini cons, one, they essentially kind of like a dog or just a pet in general, they bond with the owner or whoever finds them first, and then it amplifies their powers. So going along with Furno's, his love for Hot Shot. Well, you want to talk about being a badass?
Yeah.
Like Hot Shot in the Armada series, like is a straight badass.
Oh yeah, that's also my favorite fucking hotshot look is in Armada, bro. It's my favorite design.
My favorite design of him is in Cybertron.
Oh, I fucking love that. That's a close second though. Like with the blue and the red and the bro, I fucking love it.
Yes. But like, gosh, the whole Unicron era, like it tells three different stories, but it all revolves around Unicron because at the end of it all, like they finally meet up with Unicron, and we get to see, and this goes on into Transformers Cybertron. I don't really talk about Energon because basically the whole premise of that is you've got this human kid that, for whatever reason, can sense Energon.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's got a sixth sense for it, and his hair turns blonde.
Yeah.
Like it's a whole. If you haven't seen Energon, I suggest watch it because I mean it is good for what it is, but it's also real. Like you're just kind of like, how the hell does a human kid be able to sense Energon? Like that's just kind of weird.
Imagine how complicated Doctor Strange is, but it's Transformers.
Yeah, no kidding. That's actually a really good. That's a really good comparison.
Well, thank you.
But no, like just the whole premise behind it is that you've got this war because it's typical Autobot versus Decepticon type deal, and then you add in things that bring in ultimate power. Like you've got three sets of minicons that make like the Star Saber, which is one of the most powerful you ever have in the Transformers lore. And I mean, it's just one of those deals that like it's cool to see, and then you get to see like all these different side characters that we get to talk about. Like do y'all know we're all Transformers fans, so hopefully everybody knows who like Metroplex is, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So in Cybertron, like they travel to this planet, and it's like a home. It's home to like these giant Transformers.
Yeah.
Well, and you get to meet Minosaur, you get to meet Metroplex, but Metroplex is basically almost like a real fancy excavator type deal. I mean, but he's got a Scottish accent and all that mess. So I mean, that was kind of screwy, but it just the whole story behind it, because seeing all these characters come together within that story, and I've got them all there in my office. But it's just, man, that whole story, that whole media, I think was by far like prime time Transformers lore or anything to that extent. Like G1, you don't fix it if it's not broken. G1 is great.
Yeah.
But to me, those three eras, those three shows, like if you want to get into Transformers, you watch those three.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, do you think Squatch?
You said that. I personally haven't seen those three eras, but now that you've talked about it, it's got me interested into going to find out. Like, I like Transformers, but I'm not like, I don't know like the extended stuff like I do with like Star Wars or with like DC or Marvel, things like that. So this is like a good iteration for like me, like to be the eyes of like a new viewer to like understand like the deeper lores of it. because I personally haven't seen like the older, like the oldest I've seen is G1, but I haven't seen anything from the 3D era on.
Right.
Like,
have you seen Cybertron,
so this
the series?
that's the one. That's the Netflix one, right?
So,
There is one
no,
on
no, no. That's War for Cybertron, but there's this anime
Yeah.
style that is called Cybertron, which is
No, I
from
haven't
which
seen
is
that one.
which is early 2000. It's really good. You should find it
Yeah.
somewhere on that's 100% definitely legal. You'll find it somewhere like that. Now, Squatch, do you think?
For me,
Do you hope? I mean,
of trans.
wanting it is one thing, Squatch, but do you think that they're going to, at some point in the near future, implement a Unicron storyline to the big screen?
Yeah, that's a good possibility.
Yeah?
That's a really good
I-
possibility.
I could definitely see it.
Mhm.
I know that. Matter of fact, I don't know if y'all knew this or not, but that was actually one of Michael Bay's big deals. Was he, even though that he's not a Transformers fan, he had so many people asking for him to bring in Unicron for
Right.
the fifth movie,
Yeah.
and so I firmly believe that eventually we will get to see a live action Unicron and potentially like a live action Primus.
Ooh.
Because
That would be nice.
because once again, this goes back into the whole Cybertron deal. If you watch Transformers Cybertron, like you get to see Primus, you get to see Unicron. So I'm pretty sure, like, if Travis Knight keeps going the route that he's going with the Transformers, we will more than likely get like a live action version of sorts
Right.
of Transformers G1 the movie.
Yeah. Now,
That would be so cool.
I'm just gonna quickly throw out something that I think that I would love to see, but I don't think we're gonna see because I think he's too OP to keep this moving forward without introducing way too many characters, which is ironic considering who we have in the call. But Vector Prime, I would love to see. Issue is he's too OP.
Ooh.
He's too OP. You'll have to introduce way too many characters to actually get him to work. You know what I mean? But I would love to see him. Just throwing that out there, just so you know. But okay, so we all agree that.
We saw like a.
What?
Oh, go ahead.
No. What was that?
Well, I was just gonna say, it'd be kind of like seeing Alpha Trion.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, that'd be cool too. Galvatron would be cool.
Yeah. I think there's so many awesome characters, but they would have to like let's say Alpha Trion. Let's say they introduce Alpha Trion and Vector Prime, then it's okay. Like you introduce two characters that can balance each other out, then that's gonna work. But they're both so complicated that that there's too much story to build up. So you can't introduce both of them like that. So I think that's definitely something that could be interesting, is seeing if they introduce any major characters like that are technically OP but are also so complicated that you would need an entire movie just to explain how the fuck they work.
Exactly.
But
so
yeah.
Here.
But so we
high.
Yeah. Like, but bro, Jesus Christ, could you imagine Vector Prime fucking Jesus Christ, I don't even want to. But okay, so we all agree that Unicron is definitely a possibility. Now, do we think that this is going to be through Travis Knight or through Michael Bay?
Oh, I don't think it'll be through Michael Bay. I hope it's through Travis Knight.
Yeah, no.
I agree with Watch. I think the Michael Bay is just dead in the water. I think it was a nice era to like introduce it, but I don't think we're gonna get anything else from Michael Bay unless God somehow he gets the rights to do it again.
which I don't think he
Well,
will, since how good Bumblebee
I
did.
don't,
Hmm.
I don't think he will, but at the same time, I think he kind of opened that door for Travis Knight, and
Yeah.
so since we have got to see a G1, Transformers deal, and then you see the end of Bumblebee, and we finally get to see the G1 Optimus Prime dragging his trailer with the Michael Bay Camaro version of Bumblebee.
Hmm.
I I'm pretty sure after the Rise of the Beast or whichever this newest one's fixing to come out, I fully I fully expect us to see Unicron at some point, and hopefully they do it right like they did it in the originals. Um, this is where I'm going to go back a little bit and critique like Transformers Prime. The Unicron deal in Transformers Prime was good, but it wasn't like we didn't get to see. It's kind of like the second Fantastic Four movie.
Right.
We
Yeah.
heard about Galactus, but we never saw him.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I think Travis Knight will pull. If between him and Michael Bay, I'm pretty sure Travis Knight will have a Unicron Transformers movie at some point in time. I
Right.
highly doubt that see we'll see Michael Bay do it again, but I it wouldn't surprise me if he did get to do it, and it kind of be like, "Hey, sorry, we fucked up the last two movies, but here's a badass version of an ultimate villain that y'all have all been waiting for." Just kind of
Yeah.
like redeems himself with that.
But okay, I think that's been a pretty good roundup. We've had a lot to fucking talk about. Then I have my only thing that I'm gonna bring to the table on this day. It's short, it is sweet, and it's very quick. Now we all know Blitzwing, right? The character,
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
and obviously we saw him in Bumblebee, right? And that is
Yeah.
the only issue I had with Bumblebee was Blitzwing. I liked him, but what I didn't like was that he didn't have the 3 personalities. Now,
Yeah.
now, we have this thing coming up that it's called a sequel. And I have a thought, because they've introduced, the guys that experiment on Transformers and stuff, right? Obviously you had Blitzwing at the start, who is very dead. And then you also had 2 other villains who are also dead. Now, Blitzwing, originally in the TV shows and all that, he can be more than just... He is what was it called?
A triple changer.
A triple changer, exactly, that's it. Now, my thought is, because you have that Blitzwing, and you know how like these motherfuckers that want to experiment with Transformers, they're probably going to cook up something. So my thought, to get back the Blitzwing we all love, the triple changer and the 3 personalities, is, so what we do, or what they should do, is they experiment on the Blitzwing, and then they take parts from these 2 other Decepticons that are now dead. And so you got the blue guy that I don't remember the name of. He is the crazy version. That pink bitch that I don't remember the name of, she is the cold version. And then, like the cold personality type, cold. And then, you could just have normal Blitzwing. Those are the 3 personalities, and then that's also how you introduce the triple changer, is they use parts from these guys to try and make their own. That goes to shit because they're all 3 different personalities. And then you have Blitzwing as main villain next movie. Do you see my point? Yeah, you see it. And then we all have the old Blitzwing we all know and love.
Whoa, are we gonna do like the G1, or are we gonna do like in Transformers animated?
Based kind of both, essentially. You know, I just want back the 3 personalities that he has and the triple changing ability. That's all I want, really. And so
They do that.
That'd be good.
So like, you know,
we could see Astro Train.
yeah. So like they use these 2 other Decepticons, they merged them with the Blitzwing from the first movie because they want to make their own that they control like a weapon for the US. And like, but that goes to shit, and then we have the Blitzwing with the 3 personalities. He becomes a triple changer because of all the different parts, and it's all good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's essentially all I wanted to bring to the table. Was just give my 2 cents on that, because I think that is pretty good, and that is my hopes for the next Bumblebee movie. So, is there anyone that has any final things that they want to quickly bring to the table, because we are close to being out of time for today? Anyone have anything that they want to throw out before we end this podcast?
Nah, I got everything off my chest.
Kamikaze has
Dude,
everything
I
off
know
his
I got
chest.
everything.
Vector?
I spoke up. Hey, I need that out of my system.
All right. And also, this is going to be a topic like Transformers. We're going to talk more about this anyways. Squarch, do you have any final words on any of the things that we have discussed, or is your chest empty?
My chest is very much empty.
Brilliant. Poor choice of words by me, but you know, we'll fucking roll with it nonetheless. All right. Thank you all so much for listening to the High Council Podcast, episode 15. Thank you all for listening, watching, whatever the fuck it has been. Thank you, Squatch, for hopping in on, well, for one, short notice, but also straight up, as soon as we were saying that we're going to talk about Transformers, Squatch came right into the fucking rescue. Amazing. Gotta love it. Gotta respect it. And, you know, next time we talk about Transformers, would love to have you back on. So this has been amazing. So, Squatch, how has this been? How are you feeling?
Oh, I feel pretty good. I'd love to do it again. This was awesome.
Amazing. That's what we love to hear. And we would fucking love to have you back for the next episode of Transformers. We're probably going to I don't know when Bumblebee 2 comes out or whatever. Next time a movie comes out, maybe we'll just do a full review of War of Cybertron on Netflix, because it's pretty fucking good and it's easily accessible for everyone listening. Exactly.
Write that down. Write that down.
Write that down. Write that down. All right.
Taking notes.
Now, who, Kami and Vector, I don't know, Kami, I believe you were the one who threatened the people last time, so I think Vector...
I have.
Yeah, you did. So, Vector, do you want to come in with a threat to end off this podcast, considering it is tradition to throw a bit of bait to keep them engaged?
Oh, yeah. Now, listen here, jokers. If you don't subscribe to the High Council Podcast, get on those likes, get on those comments, get on that subscribe button, listen to us on whatever the fuck you listen to us on, whether it be SoundCloud, whether it be Spotify. If you don't, I will get Grimlock on you.
Ooh.
That's all. If you don't, I'm gonna get Grimlock, and we're gonna have to duke it out, because you're not gonna do us dirty like this and listen to all of our amazing content and then not subscribe. Like, I'm just gonna have to get Grimlock on you.
Hey, yo. Like,
I'll burn your house down.
Like, usually these threats are like, haha, funny, but bro, Grimlock, dude, chill out. Damn. All right.
Nah,
so,
bro, I'm serious about
I mean,
you going to subscribe to our stuff.
Y'all heard it. You're getting disrespected like fuck by him sending Grimlock on you, so you better follow, subscribe, and whatever the fuck. If not, you know, Vector's got his contacts. His name is Vector. You got Vector Prime, one of the most powerful characters. So, well, I mean, that too. He's probably even more powerful than Vector Prime is. So, all right.
Yeah. Well, he's more like a despicable me. We all know that from the last episode.
But of course. So, thank you all so much for listening or watching to this episode of the High Council Podcast. It has been amazing. Squatch, thank you so much for being here, and we will see you all in the next. Remember, Grimlock's coming. He's coming after you, bro. Just remember that shit. So, talk to you all later.